Hello, gamers. I made it. I am alive. I'm doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all. It started out with the glizzy. How did it end up like dizzy? It was only a glizzy. It was only a glizzy. How was the traffic? Well, let me build a moment for you, okay? So after the stream yesterday, recorded a couple Super Auto Pets videos, and then I said, let's go. I was stealing myself because if you recall, the roads were really, really bad yesterday. So I sledded my daughter to daycare. So I had to pick her up in the sled, right? So as a typical early person, I walked with the sled. I left 20 minutes before I normally would have to leave to make that walk because there was snow on the ground and I was carrying the sled and I didn't know if I was going to be a little slow. I know it seems crazy to say like, oh, the why would my thumb slow me down? But I just these are the things that early people consider, and that's why they're always early. So of course I left 20 minutes before I had to, and I arrived 20 minutes before I had to be there. Waited outside, and then daycare pickup came, and I said, "This is okay. Look, I made it here. It's a little chilly, but all we have to do now is get home." Sledded my daughter like 2 blocks, and then she all of a sudden decides, "Daddy, I don't like this sled anymore." But also, she's tired because she played in the snow all day, so she's like, "I don't want to walk." So catch my ass carrying her, and of course I carry her like the same way, the same side that I got the thumb injury on, one block at a time, while also carrying the sled, while the sled also can't tip over because we got like some Christmas stuff from the daycare. Like one big block at a time, trudging through the snow, then like get to the end of the block, put her down. As soon as I put her down, she's like, "Daddy, I don't want to be down." I'm like, I'm like bent in half, like just trying to get some blood back in my arms. And I'm like, okay, let's do this next block. Pick her up, take her another. I don't know. It's probably like, it's 12 to 14 blocks. No, thankfully it was downhill. It was uphill on the way there, and she was loving the sled. It's downhill on the way back, but it's still like, it was pretty, like, it normally takes me like 20 minutes to walk, and this time it took us about an hour to get from the daycare to our house. So like it was a journey. Didn't the Peloton rides help? Yes. If I didn't have like average or above average conditioning, I think that I would have just simply, I don't know, given. I would have called my wife and been like, "You need to pick me up or something." Put the skis on the car. But we made it. We made it. Everything went okay. I ate a delicious halloumi bowl last night for dinner. Had a fantastic time. Slept okay. I did. I took the gauze off last night. We replaced the bandage. We rubbed some ointment on it. Um, and for a second, I almost passed out when I saw it because I thought that I was seeing exposed bone. But I'm pretty sure that actually, like, I don't want to make you feel like gross about this, but I gotta live with this. So if you want to be here, then you can deal with it too. Appraising the injury, I think what basically happened is I pinched it in the door hinge, and then like all the skin basically above the pinch, between the pinch and my thumbnail, just died. It just is like, we can't fund this anymore. This is a zombie. This is zombie flesh. So that is all gone. And there's some exposed something, but it's not a bone. I'm pretty sure it's the nail matrix, which is normally under the skin. But other than, I know that sounds like that should not be that like I should not be that coy about it, but it's actually not bad. The pain is very manageable, and I don't think I'm gonna lose the nail, and I have feeling in the thumb. You could get Parani Chia. What is this, like an anime? Hold on. Parani Chia. Skin infection that occurs around the nails. Nah, I don't think so. What's the fastest way to get rid of paronchia? Soak the infected area in warm water for 15 minutes a few times a day. This is what you want me to spend 12 hours in the emergency room for? To avoid soaking my thumb in warm water for 15 minutes a few times a day? That's crazy. You've lost your mind. You got your priorities all messed up. Is paronchia urgent? Call your doctor or seek immediate medical care because your doctor's not going to pick up. It's December 21st. If you have signs of new or worsening infections, such as increased pain, that's an X. We do not have that. Swelling, that's an X. Warmth, no. I would say no. Redness, a little bit, but I think that's because I crushed it yesterday. I think, honestly, trust me, nobody knows signs of infection like me. After I'm not going to say that I'm a better doctor than the doctors that I saw. What I will say is, I think hey, you know what I'm going to say? Is that fucking Justin was like, hey, Ryan, I've had diarrhea for 72 hours. What should I do? And I said, you should go to your after hours clinic and lie to the doctor and say you've had diarrhea for 3 weeks and they'll give you antibiotics so you don't have to go through what I did. Guess what? That's exactly what he did. And he ended up recovering beautifully. So I'm just saying, that is my advice to you. If you have acute diarrhea that's lasted longer than 3 days, simply go to the doctor and lie because the system is made to force you to be the squeaky wheel in order to get some grease. For the purposes of legality, this is a bit. Don't actually do this. No, do actually do this. People be like, oh no, antibiotic resistance. Oh no, I don't have the thing that you have, but one day I might get it and then I'll need the antibiotics. He needed the antibiotics right there, you selfish son of a bitch. Yeah, but one day in the future, maybe or maybe not, I might also get the thing and I want the antibiotic. Yeah, he has the thing. The thing. Anyway, so after carrying her home, for 14 blocks, I just drove her to daycare today. And honestly, what's crazy is that, like, it's an ice rink out there, even with winter tires and driving, like, very slow. I was slipping around a little bit. I was like a hot pat of butter on a warm piece of bread when I was trying to parallel park, but we made it happen. And the commute took shorter than it normally does because there was like nobody on the road. In spite of the fact that the roads are basically like pure ice and then there's 15 centimeters of snow on top of it, I was driving half the speed limit and skirting around. I made it in record time. And the world is still functioning. You know what I'm realizing is that none of you, again, you guys are, when I say you, I mean the royal you. None of you fuckers have to be in the office. Like 5% of you have to be in the office. That's it. 95% of you can just be on Zoom. And that's fine. And it's better this way. By the way, I'm not saying like I deserve the sole right to to be on the road, but I'm only on the road, like 5 minutes there, 5 minutes back. If your office is 5 minutes away, by all means, okay? You get the same priority that I do. If you're driving your toddler to work or to daycare in the snow in -8, then yeah, you get road privilege for sure. Or if you have to be in the office, if you're an emergency room doctor, a paramedic, a plumber, an electrician, a streamer, anything like that. If only I could teach from home. Here's the thing. I think you could teach greatly from home. I just think that the students are not going to learn. And that's not your fault. That's human nature. I feel like motivated, and I have no experience with remote learning, except I took a correspondence class in university, and it was like I was just not motivated. I was motivated to pass the class and get the credit, but either way, I feel like if you're like 16 and motivated, you could do a lot of stuff with school from home, with remote learning. You could become a genius. But if you're like in the second grade, you're fucked. No 7-year-old is sitting in front of their iPad being like, let's learn the multiplication tables, you know? It's not gonna happen. 16 and motivated? Bro, there's people are like, no 16-year-olds are motivated. There's motivated 16-year-olds. It's like 1 in 30. It wouldn't have been me. I would have been. Listen, if I think honestly appraising myself in high school, if I was 16 and I was the same person I was at 16, and the pandemic hit in 2004 or something like that, well, we would have been fucked because like only like a third of my class even had broadband. So I honestly don't know what the hell we would have done. To be real with you, they probably would have just sent us. Quite frankly, I think they would have just. I think they would have been like, "Get on the school bus, brother. We're going in." But assuming that they did some remote learning, I would have been. I think I would have maintained. But you know what would have happened? I wouldn't have put in a full 7-hour day at the education factory. I would have maintained the current pace of education, but I would have done it in like 2.5 hours instead of 7, and then I would have played like triple the video games for sure. Which I don't think is that bad. Could be worse. A lot of people would have just done nothing. It would have been like high school, but at home and minus all the word searches they give you when you finish the assignment early. As me, except with my real job? Yeah, that's true. I mean, that was a route. I mean, now we're getting, I don't know, we're going to do like 90 minutes of just improv at the start of this. But that was a rude awakening for me when I got my first office job and was like, oh, nobody's doing like anything. There's like everybody in the office spends 45 to 90 minutes responding to their voicemails and their emails from the night before. And then you have a couple meetings, and then it's lunch. And after lunch, you have a meeting, but nobody's getting anything done. It's 1. There's only 3.5 hours left in the workday. It shattered my frame. Jobs that pay less are so much harder. Listen, I am speaking from a place of very, not zero, but very minimal expertise, okay? I've had like 3 short-term office jobs in my life, but I was definitely like, when I was doing admin work in an office, I was like, I do not deserve to be paid more than a mover. That is crazy. I'm literally like, all I am doing is keeping a seat warm until like a computer can replace me. I'm getting an email that has like data in it, and then they're like, hey, can you augment this data and move it to an endpoint? And then I do, like, I get like 17 numbers. I put them into a computer program. I hit a button and I take the output and I put that into another computer program. I'm literally just like a pipe. That's it. I'm merely a vessel for information to travel through. Obviously, some people have jobs that can't be automated. For example, if you're a masseuse, they keep trying. They got that Theragun. They got that. A massage chair does not do even close to the same job. It's not even in the ballpark. It's not that you should have been paid less. It's everyone else should have been paid more. Yeah, no, that's true. They could have probably. I would have accepted. I was getting paid $12 an hour. I would have done it for 9.50. I'm not saying I should have been paid less. They could have paid me less though. I had no leverage. You know, it's a summer job. I'm going back to school the first week of September. It's July 16th. What am I going to do if they're like, we're paying you 9.50 an hour? I'm going to get another job for 6 weeks? No, I'm just going to take it. Stop saying the quiet part out loud. Oh man. I'm getting paid 35 bucks an hour watching you. That's pretty sick. In that case, I should be running some more ads. No! Dude, here's what I say this mostly if you're like between the ages of like 16 and like 23. If you have a job where you're not allowed to wear headphones, then this stream is dedicated to you, which is ironic because you can't hear it. I worked some not so great jobs for sure, but so did everybody for when they were like, you know, late teenagers, early adults. If I could wear headphones and I could listen to the Arcade Fire's Neon Bible, then I could at least be like, I'm spiritually fulfilled while I'm here. Without earbuds and just having to like listen to whatever the radio is in your place of work, man, I can't even imagine. That's like 8 hours to take 16 hours to get through. Stop asking me if my thumb's got tipema. I know it's going to be the tip of my in your. 16 to 23-year-olds don't know what the radio is. They do if they work in the damn grocery store. November 17th rolls around every day. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Oh, the weather outside is frightful. Man, the fire is so delightful. With there isn't no place to go. If you had to choose, would you rather teach English in Korea or do your office job? I would rather do my office job, full stop, no sweat. When I worked in Korea, I made $1,800 Canadian a month in 2010. And I worked, I don't know, you're probably talking like 23 days a month, 9 hours a day. So you're basically like daycare plus teaching for like $9 an hour with a university degree, which is not good. My expenses were lower. The job was worse and paid less. My expenses were lower, and living there was like a cultural experience that I don't regret. But yeah, I would never go back if possible, if I could avoid it. That's the other thing. I don't know, like, again, it's not like that big of a deal, but when I worked as a summer job in an office, they basically just treated me like what is it called when you're in baseball when you play every position? They were basically just utility. Yeah, I was just utility. Like I had a job description, but then it was like, oh, a bunch of new office chairs just arrived. Can you help me offload them off the truck and get them set up? And I'm like, sure. I guess that's not in my job description or whatever. And if I herniate a disc, you have like no liability or something like that. But yeah, why not? Hey, the receptionist is going to lunch. Can you be reception for an hour? Sure. I've received like literally zero training, but like by all means, let's do it. You know what's funny is there was never like, hey, the vice president of sales was supposed to golf with the CEO today, but he's under the weather. Could you take up his position on the links? That shit never came down the pipe. It was always like, hey, It snowed yesterday. Can you clean the icicles off of the sign on the storefront? Please enable Ain't No Way. Okay, can I, sorry to delegate. Can I get a VIP to link Ain't No Way? Okay, thank you, thank you. It's a skeleton on a fan. You know what's funny? This image is exactly what I had pictured when someone said it's a skeleton on a fan. I have no idea what the use case of this emote is, but I have enabled it. There it is. You seeing it? Hold on. I saw it and then I refreshed anyway, and now it's gone. I got to refresh again. I'm sure it'll be back in a second. Oh, this one's not all caps. Yeah. This is just Ain't No Way, capital ANW. Okay, I'm gonna load up Midnight Suns. Mostly because like every 40 minutes that we don't play Midnight Suns is another 40 minutes I have to play Midnight Suns in the future. Which is fine because I like the game, but I would really like to be done with the game by like mid-January. Because, you know, pulling the curtain back, that's when like, you know, ad revenue and stuff like that is at its worst anyway. So it's a great time to play something that is like analytics poison. But I am having a fun time playing Marvel's Midnight Suns, okay? Even if it does lead my Twitch stream summaries to look like Tony Snell. Unironic game of the year? No, I mean, come on, bro. Come on. Obla di, obla da, life goes on, bruh. La 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 la, Elden Ring. Anyone who doesn't like it is a suckhead. That's damn true. I'm choosing, by the way, not to talk about Dan. Basically, going on an extended rant this morning about how winter tires like aren't real. Like he was baffled. He was like, "Hey, let me ask you, do you use winter tires?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Hold up. What do you do with your summer tires in the winter?" And I said, "Where do we?" I said, "We store them." And he said, "What? Where do you store them?" And I said, "You could store them like in your garage. You could store them like at the tire shop." And then he was like, "Your garage? Like how much space do you have?" And I'm like, "Dude, the tires like." I understand that the average like Midwestern garage is just full of like empty Amazon boxes that you're like too lazy to break down and put in the recycling, so you just sort of like leave a bunch of garbage in there for months. But like out here on the West Coast, where space is at a premium, we have to stay on top of stuff like that. So we have a little bit more like less clutter, which means we, you know, if you got a tire which is like a foot and a half in diameter, and then you just stack all four on top of each other, like it's not that hard. And then he said, "Well, what happens when you want to replace the winter tires with the summer tires? What do you do?" And I say, "You put the tires in your car and then you drive them to the tire shop." And he said, "So let me get this straight. When you go to the tire shop, you put the tires in your car, drive there. They take the tires out, replace them, and then put your winter tires in the back of your car." And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "That just seems backwards to me." I was losing it. I was like, "What's the, what's the problem?" It's crazy. But I guess, like, and I was trying to explain, okay, I'm not, listen, we have a ton of bad drivers in the West Coast, not like the Western Hemisphere or like the global West or whatever. And, like, that's a big problem when it snows. However, We do. I'm not gonna say the conditions are worse because I know when you live in the Midwest, you love to be like bent over and fucked by the snow. It's part of your personality. Oh, I listen. My favorite show is This Is Us. I can't hang my hat on having good taste. I just watch whatever ABC puts out at 8 p.m. anyway. So my whole personality is that's not that cold. Yeah, maybe I'd wear like a sweater at minus 30, but minus 10, that's shorts weather. Okay, congratulations. All I'm going to say is that the conditions are slightly different, okay? I've lived in a place where there's a real winter for like 20 something years. That's where I learned how to drive, okay? It gets cold in like Halloween, and then it stays cold through St. Patrick's Day. So the snow comes down, and then it's just snow, and occasionally you get like a little bit of black ice, but it's like winter all the time. In the West Coast, at least here, it hovers around 0 degrees Celsius. So it snows, and then it turns into ice, and then it rains on top of the ice at 0 degrees Celsius, and it becomes like super ice, and then it gives a fresh sheet of snow on top of the ice. So people are like, they got their winter tires, and they think that there's going to be traction because it's snow, but then they don't realize that underneath the snow is super ice. Anyway, so that's why the conditions are just a little different. I'm just trying to push back against the Midwestern superiority. Not to mention, like if I looked up traffic stats, I'm sure people from Indiana are, getting in 15-car wrecks on the highway every damn winter. But instead of being like, oh, the conditions are bad, they have like a weird sense of like, oh, they deserved it. Oh, wow, you learn how to drive, you joker. Getting in a car accident has absolutely nothing to do with preparation or the conditions. Instead, I bet they were probably driving like a joker. Anyway, continue. It's not punching down. If you think poking fun at the Midwest is punching down, you're saying the Midwest is worse than the West Coast. In which case, you're punching down. I meant it laterally. I didn't even use the term flyover state. It's canonically worse? Listen, I'm trying not to have like a superiority complex. I like going to small towns and eating at a Subway or a Jack in the Box or a Quiznos or whatever. All I'm going to say is people from California are like, what do you do in Indiana? And people from Indiana are like, I don't know, there's not really anything. But I would hate to live in California. And then Californians are like, why? And then they're like, because the coffee is 75 cents more expensive than it is in my hometown. Okay, cool. Anyway, I need to Alt-Tab, but I can't use my thumb to hit Alt, okay? /marker. Midnight Suns.